Uganda is progressing very fast, negotiating sharp bends at breakneck speed. On the Drift podcast, we put that growth in perspective.
Good evening, wherever it is that you are watching from. You are live on the You Are a Drift podcast, and we are coming to you live from Entebbe Airport. Now we are speaking to you, a frequent traveler, or even a person who is not necessarily a frequent traveler, but is prospecting. Because at any one point, an opportunity will come and you'll go somewhere and you'll have to probably come back into Uganda, or you might want to come and visit the Pearl of Africa. Now, when that happens, there are some things that you must know about. There are some items that are prohibited in the country. There are some items that are restricted. Then there are some items that are allowed but dutiable. Then there are items that you can just come back to Uganda with, and you enjoy using the item without any issues. With me on set is the manager, Entebbe Customs, Mr. Simon Esunget, a name and face that is not necessarily new to all of you, and he's going to be taking us on this journey of appreciating all these elements. What is prohibited, what is restricted, and what is dutiable. Without further ado, Mr. Simon Esunget, say hello to the viewers and then we get deep into the conversation.
Thank you very much, Solomon, and again, good evening, viewers. We are glad that we have this episode yet again, and again, my name is Esunget Simon, the manager of customs here at Entebbe International Airport. And glad we have this session again, and hopefully we'll have something to learn from this session. Thank you.
Like Arsenal, let us shoot without wasting any minutes.
Okay.
First things first.
Yes.
There's prohibited.
Okay.
There is restricted.
Yes.
There is dutiable.
Yes.
Let us start with prohibited.
Yes.
Define what you mean by prohibited goods for Uganda. Define what you mean by prohibited goods for the region. Take it away from the top.
Thank you very much. First, I need to mention that when we talk about prohibited, that means there is a law that makes something prohibited. So for the East African community, the law is called the East African Community Customs Management Act. It was enacted in 2004 and is the one that we are using especially for imports and exports within the EAC region. Now, within the East African Community Customs Management Act, it defines the prohibited goods as those goods whose importation is prohibited by either the Act itself, that's the East African Community Customs Management Act, or by any other written law which is in force in any of the East African Community partner states. Now, that difference is very important because there are goods that are prohibited regionally by the Act, and there are those goods that are prohibited locally by the local laws here in Uganda. Let me give you an example.
Please.
Regionally, goods that are prohibited include false money or counterfeit currency. They include used underwear and all inwear of all types. They are not allowed to be imported in the region. We have items like narcotic drugs under the international control. They are not allowed to be imported into the country. We have soaps and cosmetics of any type that contain mercury. That's very key. They must contain mercury. Those are also part of the items that are not allowed to be imported regionally. Now, locally here for Uganda, we have other laws that prohibit certain goods. For example, we have the Finance Act of 2009. This criminalizes the importation of used electronic items, particularly things like used laptops or used computers, things like used TVs, things like used fridges. So that's where they are criminalized from. Now, we also have the Tobacco Control Act of 2015. This criminalizes the importation of items such as electronic cigarettes, smoking vapors, things like smoking scissors and its accessories. And I will give you an example. These are some of the This is the accessories for smoking scissor. So there is a build-up. You can see how they bring them in. So these are the people build them up, and there are other accessories that they have. And people will put some other components here, which eventually lead to the vaping. You know, these are criminalized.
They put some fire on it. And
Something there, yes. So these are not allowed, and the law that prohibits this is the Tobacco Control Act of 2015 for Uganda. Now, these items might be allowed in other jurisdictions. So, say for example, you're coming from Dubai, and these items is allowed in Dubai. You have to be aware that in Uganda they are not allowed.
like I've been living in Dubai, I've been smoking my shisha, and I want to come home with my pot.
You will be charged. You know, we have smoking vapor. This box is all full of smoking vapor. You know, the bat, molasses, smoking vapor. This is an example of such items that are prohibited in Uganda. Now,
Vapors were also banned in California a while back.
now
It
you
seems
see,
the world is taking on the trend.
and I see some discussions around that in the jurisdiction of United Kingdom. We never know, maybe in the future they might also, that shows you that Uganda has moved a step further to try and protect the people from the damages of some of these items. Now, that's the very critical aspect. I didn't mention about the used computers.
Yes, you did.
The used computers.
Let me hold on to this one.
This is how they come, okay? This is how the used computers come. As you can see, these are all used, and there are 4 of them. Now, the difference we want to make is that personal used computer is not subject to prohibition.
Like I've been living in Dubai and I've been owning my
You
Dell.
have your data in your computer, you're moving with it, that is not subject to this prohibition. We are talking about items that come in this nature, okay? You are having this one maybe as a donation to an institution, a school, an orphanage, or maybe a church, and you have 20 of these, you have 5, you have 6 of these, and they are all used, as you can see. And this is typically how these items come, okay? They come in this manner. These are what the law talks of as prohibited items. So that is something that we want our viewers out there to learn, so that you do not become a victim of the sanctions that come when you import these items as passenger companion baggage. Remember I mentioned they are prohibited.
Yes.
That means they are not completely allowed
In
to
the
be
country.
imported into the country. So then what happens if you are caught with them?
Exactly, because
When
that's
you-
the question that I wanted to ask before we move on to the next category of items.
Yes.
What happens to me if I'm caught at the airport with a prohibited item?
Yes.
And I'm trying to make my entry into Uganda with it?
Yes, yes. So basically, there are 3 key sanctions. The first one is imprisonment up to 5 years.
I can be jailed.
Yes, you can be jailed up to 5 years. The second one is you pay the penalty for importing these items into the country, and the penalty is a hash, okay? It's 50% of the value of that prohibited item. So if these laptops are worth $2,000, the penalty will be $1,000. Okay, it's 50% of the value. Now, the worst case scenario is both. So the law says, or both penalty and imprisonment.
So you can do the jail sentence and still
also
pay.
pay the penalty. That is what the law talks about. So it's very critical that we are aware about these items that are prohibited to be imported.
What about the item itself? What is the fate of the item?
So the fate of the item is that it will be destroyed at your own cost. So even after paying the penalty, these items have to be destroyed at your own cost. Now there are some items that the commissioner may have powers to order you to export these items out of Uganda under control. Okay? So say for example you have brought 20 used laptops. The commissioner still reserves the right, after you fulfill the sanctions or the penalties, to decide whether to destroy them at your own cost or give you an opportunity to re-export them out of Uganda under control. Okay?
Back to sender.
So if you came by air, we put you back on the air with them so that you go out of the country with them. So typically, that is how we deal with these prohibited items.
That brings me to the next category of items, because there are some items that are not necessarily prohibited, but
Yes.
the word that is used with them
Yes.
is restricted.
Yes.
Tell us about restricted items. What are they?
Yes.
Why are they
Yes.
restricted items
Yes.
in Uganda?
Okay. So the restricted items are generally allowed to be imported to Uganda, but their importation is regulated. What this implies is that before you import them into Uganda, you must fulfill certain conditions. And so we have a couple of items that are considered as restricted goods. Okay? One such item is a popular item which is called the drones, such as these drone cameras.
We have one right here.
This is an example of a restricted item. Okay? So you are not at liberty to import the drone, but the importation of a drone is allowed. So you must fulfill certain requirements for you to be allowed to import a drone into the country.
What are these requirements for a drone?
One, you must write to the commander of defense forces, specifying the capacity of your drone, the purpose of that drone, and where you intend to use it. Now, once they have looked at those technicalities, then they can give you a written response guiding on whether you are allowed to import it or not. Once you are given that feedback and it's positive, because this is a flying item, then the Civil Aviation Authority will then issue a flying permit. And once you have the tool, we will then collect the taxes from the drone and allow you to exit the airport with the same. So when you come, when you don't have those requirements, we will retain the drone and give you opportunity to go and obtain those clearance permits so that you can now come and clear it through the customs authorities. The second item, which is...
Nyaika, that particular question was asked for you in case you want to bring in a drone. You know exactly how you need to do it. Over to you.
The second item, which is considered as a restricted item, is walkie-talkie radio. The walkie-talkie radio, what I am holding here, is an example of a walkie-talkie radio. Okay? Just for as an example, this is a walkie-talkie radio. Okay? This is a walkie-talkie radio, as you can see.
Full set.
Yes, full set. Okay? This is another example of a restricted item.
Why is this one restricted?
Because these are basically security communication gadgets, you know. So by the time you import them, what will be the purpose? So they are also restricted. Now, their importation is allowed, but it's restricted, meaning that you need to obtain a required clearance in order to bring them into the country.
If event managers use them a lot?
Yes, they get permission to import them. Yeah. So for that reason, they have to write to Uganda Communications Commission,
okay,
and obtain permission to import the walkie-talkie. Once they have been granted, then they go to police, and the police will also grant them clearance to import. And then we will collect our taxes and allow you to go with your walkie-talkie.
For the drone, it is Ministry of Defense, CDF.
Yes.
For walkie-talkies, UCC.
UCC.
And the police.
And the police. So for a drone, it's the Ministry of Defense and Uganda Civil Aviation Authority. For the walkie-talkie is Uganda Communications Commission and the police. Now the other category.
Yes. Please walk us through more restricted products.
Restricted item is medicines. Medicines of all types. You know, there are those prescription medicines which you are taking your own, okay? So the quantity that you bring in such a category should be minimal and commensurate to your stay in Uganda. So, but if you are coming with the 2 suitcases of medicines, that will be significant quantity. So the agency responsible for allowing you import medicines into Uganda in such big quantities is called National Drug Authority. The beauty about Entebbe International Airport is National Drug Authority is present and works here 24 hours. So they will be able to inspect the medicine and advise customs and the client whether to proceed or not. Obviously, there are cases where some good Samaritans want to come and stage a health boot camp where they are going to extend free medical services, and they come with a quite sizable number of medicaments. Now, usually they will need to have that clearance from National Drug Authority, and of course the drugs must be not expired. You know, we have those cases where such drugs also come in, but that's where National Drug Authority comes in. Okay. We also have items like live animals, live birds, insects, all those reptiles.
Simon, wait. Someone
Yes,
can go to another country
yes,
in the name of bringing back an animal from that country.
yes. They can come with a
It happens.
They can come with a live dog. They can come with a cat. They can come with a parrot. They can even come with a snake. So you know, people have different tastes and preferences, but those are a category of restricted items. You need clearance and all the permits from the country of export and also in the country of importation for you to bring such live animals.
Let's try to understand this one very well. I'm going to be shooting and you're going to be telling me
Yes.
the agency that I would need authorization
Yes,
from
yes.
to bring an animal.
Yes.
A dog.
You need a veterinary, and that falls under Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries.
A goat.
Yes, you will have also veterinary.
Python.
There are items like bird, parrot,
I want to bring a python.
the python,
Hey, that's the snake.
Wildlife Authority, Uganda Wildlife Authority,
An elephant.
Uganda Wildlife Authority,
A hyena.
Uganda Wildlife Authority.
Amount of animals.
Yes. So that's it. So yes, you have to have
Something with a parrot?
The parrots, yes, Uganda Wildlife Authority, yes. And you know, some people also want to bring live fish, yeah. So there will be fisheries there.
Fish.
Yes, live fish, yeah. And then the other items like products of such items, like somebody brings fresh meat and processed meat, you know, such items will go through regulation before you are allowed to bring it into the country.
What about skins and hides?
Yes.
What's the situation?
Also, you will have that is veterinary. So when you are importing skins and hides, the veterinary will have to clear you before you are allowed to take in. Usually, when they give you a permit, they also specify the port of entry for you to bring such an item for purposes of clearing it, because you can bring diseases to affect our animals inland.
Let me ask a question for the benefit of our friends who are tuned in.
Yes.
You've talked about prohibited items.
Yes.
Prohibited in the region.
Yes.
Prohibited in Uganda.
Yes.
You've also talked about restricted items, and now we want to speak to what is possible. I like to keep it positive.
Yes.
Are there items that are allowed in Uganda?
Yes. We are putting this in the context of a traveler,
Yes.
passenger who is arriving. Yes, we actually have things that are allowable. You know, the law gives you all these opportunities. For example, if you are out of the country for the last 24 hours and now you are coming back into the country, one, you can bring goods for personal use up to the value not exceeding United States $500.
Okay.
You can also bring 2 liters of wine.
Wine.
Yes, 2 liters. You can also bring 1 liter of spirits. If you want to bring red label, black label, I don't know.
Tequila.
Whatever. Even if it costs $1,000, okay?
As long as it is
1 liter of spirit, we will not tax you. You also are free to bring with up to 250 grams of cigarettes. For those who smoke, will not be charged taxes.
This is personal bucket.
Use. Now, you're also free to bring up to 250 mils of perfumes for personal use. Now, anything in excess of the mentioned falls into the category of what we call dutiable goods arriving as passenger company.
What's the meaning of that?
What it means is that these goods now are subject to payment of taxes. Okay? You have 2 liters of spirits, you will have 1 liter as your allowance, but then you'll have to pay taxes for any other
liter that is above the wine.
Extra. Yes. You have 5 liters of wines, you'll have the allowance of 2, but then you will have to pay taxes for the other extra. Now, that is the category of what we call dutiable goods. Now, I need to make mention that at this point, we consider these items for personal use. If the value of all those other dutiable items does not exceed a value of $2,000. Now, let us not get confused here.
Yes.
The $500 limit is to determine what is allowable for personal use without taxes. But a $2,000 limit is to separate between personal use and perhaps commercial nature. Now, items beyond the threshold for personal use, we use a simplified trade regime to process you, meaning in the next 15 minutes, if you have your authentic receipt, we'll be able to serve you and you go. You don't need an agent, you don't need a tax identification number.
I pay right there.
Right there, we assess, give an assessment right there, you pay taxes right there, and you go with your item.
Using whatever means that are available.
We have so many options for you to
Like
pay
which ones?
taxes. Customs does not receive your money physically. You do not hand over your money to any customs officer. What we do, we calculate taxes and issue an assessment.
Okay.
Now, that assessment has what we call a payment reference number. Now, that payment reference number, you can pay using mobile money by dialing *285#, either for Airtel or for MTN. And you pay your taxes and you go. It takes 15 seconds for the money to reflect in our system. The beauty about that code is that even if you do not have money in your phone, but your wife has money in her phone, and you have told her that, I have to pay this money.
I'm stuck at the airport.
I need to pay. So you dial the code in *285 in your mobile phone, and then you select the option of pay using another phone. And then you enter the phone of that person, the money will automatically be populated, and the prompt will go
to that person on her phone.
And the moment that person
clears
their secret code,
I'm good
our
to go.
system will pick the money, and it will pay, and you're good to go.
So you've talked about the other regime that is above the threshold where things become a bit uncomfortable.
Yes. So
what happens in that case?
That one will require you to have a tax identification number.
Okay.
And then it will require you to hire services of a licensed customs clearing agent. Will then require you to declare normally.
In summary, at that point, I'm considered a big trader.
You're a big trader. Yeah, beyond $2,000. Yeah.
Big importer.
Yes.
Anything above $2,000.
Yes,
you're not a returning traveler.
The facilities here
You're an importer.
Very flexible. Our team will be very available to support you through the entire process. I will advise you and guide you through the entire process. All what you need to do is to have a tax identification number, which is free, and you can also apply for it instantly. And then you will appoint a clearing agent, which is also done online, and the list is available of all the licensed customs clearing agents. The list is available on the URA website. You just go at www.ura.go.ug and you will see agents there. When you click, it will see customs clearing agents. And you are free to pick any of them and negotiate with them, or even you are free to engage them. That's the liberty with the facilities that we have in place.
Simon,
yes,
I would like you to make a personal appeal to someone who's watching this video and they're considering either traveling back to the country or they are traveling to Uganda for the very first time to come and experience the beauty of the Pearl of Africa.
Yes.
What are these two words that you would like this person to take to heart before they get on that plane to come?
Yes, thank you very much. Dear viewers out there, traveling is a very tricky thing. The message I want to pass across is that if you came from wherever you have come to the airport, please be conscious on who you accept their package to be checked in your name. You might get proposals even on the counter by the airline check-in officials telling you, please, we have some excess luggage here. Could you assist and check in this luggage for us? Or you will find offers within the check-in area. Say, yes, sir, I have extra luggage here. Please, could you allow me check in because it is now extra. We are all going to Entebbe and so on. I just want to appeal to the viewers out there that should be the last thing you can ever accept, because you don't know what is the content of that package you are accepting to checked in your name. What you need to know is that the moment you have checked it in your name, you are regarded the true owner.
Of that consignment.
Imagine this box. Imagine somebody is asking you to check in this box. You don't know the content. You have just met them at the airport. Imagine somebody is asking you, it's just a one box, this one.
And they're even offering some
They
dollars.
are even offering you some small money, okay? You don't know the content inside there. They are asking you to check in these items and they will tell you, you leave it at the belt. When you reach there, somebody will pick it. I guarantee you this place is under watch 24 hours. Any baggage that is left there will be retrieved and your details will be available with the airline. And you'll be able to retrieve who actually brought these items and it will unfortunately be you. And you'll take full responsibility. So my appeal is that be cautious when you are accepting any offers within the airport environment. If you came from home, you packed your luggage, come with your luggage and proceed. If you get somebody there and you want to accept such offers, you know it comes with all the potential risks. This is the message that I want the viewers out there to take note of. The final one is that Uganda Revenue Authority officials are not paid by anyone for the services that we offer. Our services are free of charge. So in the event you start hearing anyone asking you for money in order to extend the custom service to you, then you're free to report such vices. It could be a fraudster masquerading as a customs official. It could be a corrupt official. So report such cases. What you need to know, even the taxes, we don't receive it cash. You take it to the bank, you can pay the agency bank, you can pay mobile money, you can take to any bank. Our system is interfaced with all these payment platforms and we'll be able to see the payment electronically without accepting any cash. So this is the message that I want the viewers out there to take note of when you are planning to travel here at Entebbe International Airport.
It's been a pleasure having you on set.
Thank you.
For the viewer out there, the more you know, the less likely it will be for you to fall into pits. Without a doubt, if you plan to travel, the information has been shared. So take care of yourself, travel safely, and enjoy the Pearl of Africa. From all of us at URA TV to you who is watching, adios and good night.
Uganda is progressing very fast. Negotiating sharp bends at breakneck speed. On the Drift Podcast, we put that growth in perspective.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.